Hi, good morning. If you are watching on the replay, do type replay in the comments box and let me know where you are joining from. So the name of your venue, what country you're in, do type away in the comments box. And if you are joining me live, yay, and hello for joining. And please do let me know who is with me. I love to see who's joining us live on these sessions. So please do pop in the comment box there, your venue name, where you're joining from, your name, say hi, give me a wave, give me a thumbs up, and let me know who is on live this morning. Now we're going to be talking about the 6 steps to more bookings from your current inquiries. And I'm going to take you through those 6 steps nice and quickly this morning. So let me know who's on, give me a wave, give me a smiley face, tell me what venue you are joining from. Yay, I can see everybody clicking on live. Good morning, hi. So we've got Angela. Oh, hi, Angela. Yay, from Ballykeely House in Ireland. Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining live. I love it when we have these interactive sessions. Katie from Philipburn Hotel. Yay, whereabouts is that, Katie? We would love to know. I know we've got people all over the UK and all over the world as well. It's such a brilliant global group. Okay, fantastic. So what we're going to do this morning is I'm going to take you through the 6 steps really quickly because I know you're all time short. And I know it's Monday morning. So I'm going to take you through the 6 steps. And just to let you know, these are the 6 steps that I cover in depth on the 6-week training course. But what I wanted to do was give you a really quick, short version so that for some of you, you'll be able to take that information and actually go and do something with it right away. And then for those of you that need more help, obviously you can join the next group if you want to, but you're already going to get loads of information this morning. Susie says, morning from Crown Plaza in Newcastle. Yay, hi guys. I can see everyone clicking on, that's absolutely brilliant. Okay, I'm losing my voice already and it's Monday morning, what's going on? Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get started right away. Let me know any questions as we go along in the comments box. You know, I'd love to hear from you. So, as you can see, I've gone old school this morning. Do you like my flip chart? Give me a thumbs up. And when I do online training, I share my screen so you get to see, you know, lovely PowerPoint slides. But Facebook doesn't have that ability. So I've gone old school. I've bought a flip chart for you guys and I've put everything up here for us. So give me a thumbs up if you like the flip chart. Okay, step 1. Actually, step 1 has 2 points. So point one of step 1 is you've got to understand your millennial buyer. So what I hear from lots of venues who I work with is they basically say, look, Kelly, we don't know what's going on because a few years ago we were doing 100 weddings a year and now we're only doing 50 and we haven't changed anything we're doing and our product is still, you know, the same and everything we're doing is the same, but the bookings have dropped off. So let me know in the comment box if that's something that you struggle with, because I do hear that a lot. And really one of the things is that the venues haven't changed, but the buyer and the market has changed massively. So step 1 is we really need to understand our millennial buyer. Now, 78% of millennials say they want to enjoy the buying experience. It's not just about the product or service that they get at the end. It really is about the experience all the way through. And so when we start to look at that in our sales process, there's lots of things we can do to really help them enjoy the buying experience, which obviously helps them to buy. Now, the other thing in today's market, which is very different to how it was a few years ago, is there is simply much more competition. And again, this is something I hear from lots of the venues I work with. They will just say to me, Kelly, there's just so much competition now. And maybe some of you watching live are those new competition, are those new competitors. Maybe you've opened a new barn or you've got a new mansion house that you've opened, or maybe you're an old school hotelier who's been in the business for 20, 30 years. But whoever you are, competition is strong now. And we all know that. And so unless we keep up with the market, the times, what people want, you're just not going to get the business. And so really understanding that is absolutely key. And then of course, the other thing is that we didn't used to have social media. And I'm not talking about you using it, because I know we've done loads of training on that in the last few weeks. What I'm talking about with social media is how it affects your buyer. So there used to be, you know, unless you went to a wedding, you didn't know what the flowers looked like or the cake looked like or the table decorations. But now I see all the weddings that I don't go to. So if my friends go to a wedding and they post pictures on Instagram, I see. And that creates enormous pressure and comparison for our buyers. So social media is really changing the way they're thinking about how they book their venue and what they want. And obviously they want more and more. And they don't realize some of those Instagram pictures are weddings costing £1 million. give me an emoji if you know what I'm talking about. They will show you a picture on Instagram and say, this is what I want for my wedding. They've got a 10 grand budget and they're showing you £1 million wedding on Instagram. Answer from Cheadle, yay, hello lovely, so good to have you join us. Let me know who else is on. I can already see we've got some new people that have joined since I've been talking. So step 1A, we really have to understand our millennial buyer much better and then use that knowledge to update the whole sales process from start to finish. Part B of step 1, I'm trying not to make this complicated, I promise, is about your packages, pricing and upsells. Now, there is a scientifically proven number that is how many packages you should have. Okay, well, it's here, so you've probably spotted it already. And that number is 3. Now, there's a reason for this. I didn't just make it up, I promise. Science tells us our brains love 3 things to choose from. So if you have 2 packages, well, if you have 1 package, there's no choice at all. If you have 2, it's this or that. Still doesn't feel like a choice. Once we have 3, our brains feel like we're actually being given choice. And then when we go to 4, it's overwhelm. So the other thing about today's buyer is when they get engaged, they have massive buyer's overwhelm, which does not help them to make decisions. So you really want to have packages that are very clear, but that do give them those 3 choices. Now, on top of that, you do have to create packages which are really appealing to your couples. And there's a real particular way to do that so that it works beautifully and gets them to buy the package that actually gives you the most profit. And then we need to think about our pricing strategy, because I either see venues doing it far too simply, i.e. one set price across every day, every month, every year, or too complicated, but we've got different prices for different days, different weeks, different months, different years, and it just completely spirals out of control. And then again, it's too complicated for our buyers. And finally, with your packages and your pricing, most venues are not maximizing their upsells opportunity. And everyone says to me, they want to drive that average spend per wedding. And we're just not doing it. And again, you've got to create that strategy with your upsells that's not only making it really easy for your couples to buy, but also thinking about the best time to present it to them so they're in the right place to actually book your upsells. So step 1, understanding your buyer and getting the right packages, the right pricing, and the right upsells. Okay, quick bit of water. Let me know if you're all still with me. Give me an emoji. Step 2 is your emails. I'm obsessed with emails. And all of you tell me one of your biggest problems are you get the inquiries, but then once you send out your email and your brochure, it's crickets. You don't get anything back. You get really low response rates. And this is all to do with how you are writing your emails and what you're doing. So you've probably heard me say it before. If you are starting your inquiry email response with congrats and thank you, then it's all over. And there's a couple of reasons for that. And I know we've all been doing it for like the last 10 years, but that's the main reason to change it. All your competitors are saying the same thing. It doesn't come across as authentic. It doesn't come across as genuine, and it's kind of boring to your couples. So if you think they've got an inbox full of 20 inquiries that are, responses to their inquiries, they're all saying the same thing. Congrats on your engagement. Thanks for your inquiry. It's all the same. We need to be much more authentic and much more engaging. The other thing I see is that the response is just too long. So tell me in the chat box, how do you feel when you get a long email from anyone, be it from a bride, from your mum, anyone, when you get a long email, how does it make you feel? Tell me. Because I can tell you that when I get a long email, I think, oh, it's going to take me ages to read, and then it's going to take me ages to actually action all the things that I need to do. So when we make our responses too long, you actually find your couples probably aren't reading them. They're just scanning them. So they're not even taking in what you're writing. Now, email is massively important. 80% of today's wedding couples want to engage with you by email. They don't want to pick up the phone. They do want to engage with you by email. So we have to be writing much better emails, and specifically those first ones that go out after the inquiry. Now, you've got one shot here to basically get your show round. And your email should be pushing up your show round bookings. But what I see with so many venues is they're just not. They're just letting them go off. Here's a brochure, hope to hear from you soon. And there's nothing to control the sales process and actually get that couple to come in for a show round. So really want to start thinking about your emails, more authentic, more engaging, and think this is my one shot to get them in the door. Okay, step 3. Being a very specific salesperson in weddings is really important. And I'm sure you guys will agree, none of us likes being sold to. What we do like is being helped to buy, because most of us like to buy stuff. But we don't like being sold to. So being a really smart wedding salesperson is about helping people to buy, not being a pushy salesperson. The second thing about this step 3 is really understand this point for me. Your couples will book a venue, your venue, even if the product isn't perfect, so even if the carpet isn't quite perfect, even if they don't really love the curtains, even if there's a little detail they don't like, they will book your venue if they connect with you. Now tell me in the chat box, who has had couples say, we have booked the venue because of you? And I would guess it's all of you who are listening right now. But do tell me, just give me a Y for yes if you've had couples say to you, I've booked this venue because of you. Because the connection you make with your couple is absolutely critical. And by the same thought process, a couple will not book the perfect venue if they don't connect with the team doing the show round. So this point is absolutely critical. We have to know exactly how to connect with our couples so that we get more bookings. Now, I've come up with a 5-step formula for how to sell, because actually most of us don't do that well with selling, and most wedding people say to me, I don't like selling. And I say, no, we're going to help them to buy, not be pushy salespeople. So tell me, have you had your couples, oh, what's frozen? What's frozen, Angela? Oh, the screen's frozen. Is everybody with me? Okay. Answer says we have. Exactly. I'm sure all of you have had those couples who've said we're booking because of you. Okay, step 4 of 6. You do still get some people calling you. Not that many, as we've just discovered. Most people are contacting you by email, you know that. But you do still get people calling you. Now the first thing is, guys, know that they are already one step ahead in the sales process. If they have picked up the phone and taken the time and effort to actually speak to you, they are one step ahead. So we really need to make sure we're keeping them moving rather than going backwards. Because what normally happens is we take a phone call inquiry, take an email address, and then we send them that email. But that's going a step back. The phone call should lead to a show round. Now, people always say to me, the only thing people do is call up and ask us about price. Let me tell you why. They don't know what else to ask. They don't know what else to ask, guys. They're amateurs in the wedding planning business. So they just call up and they say, hi, can you tell me how much your wedding package is, please? Right? And so what we really need to do is actually get the right level of communication happening on the call so that we're actually getting a conversation going. I don't know about you, but sometimes before I use the current system I use, I would find myself on the back foot with a couple. So let's say a bride called up and she just start kind of throwing questions at me. And I'd think, oh, if you just let me get my flow, I'm going to really help you and we're going to have a great conversation. And so we need to get control of the call so that we can actually connect with that person on the phone and talk them through, rather than just go straight to price and straight to packages, which isn't helpful and isn't going to get you to get a show round. So remember, if people are calling up, they've already put themselves one step ahead in the sales process, and your goal then is to book a show round, not just send an email. Okay, step 5 is your actual show rounds. Now, I really want you to see the show rounds at a different stage in the process, because when I speak to teams, they kind of get the feeling that the sales process starts at the show round stage, but actually, guys, this is the end of your sales process. Everything you've done to this point, your emails, your calls, and everything you've sent them, everything you've discussed has led you to the show round stage, which really is the point that you're closing your sale. So when they come to see you in person, they already know the style, the size, the location of your venue. All of those things are ticked off. Product is almost ticked off. They've seen all the pictures on Instagram, even the ones that other people have tagged themselves at. They've seen it all. And what we need to create on a show round is emotional certainty. That is what makes people book. It's gut feel. It's a craving for wanting something, even when maybe the price is high or the perfect date isn't available. It's creating emotional certainty. Stop making it about the product, because that isn't what's making you the sales. Now, I'll give you an example of how this works. And do tell me in the chat box if this has happened to you. When you have gone into a shop and seen a handbag that you love, and this really isn't the month for you to buy it, you really can't afford it this month, you're really supposed to be being good, but you really love the handbag and you really see how it's going to go with that dress you have in your wardrobe, and so in your tummy you feel a craving to really have that bag. And so whilst logic goes out the window, you are buying the handbag. Tell me in the chat box if that has happened to anyone, or if that's just me. Because that's the emotional certainty I'm talking about, and I'm just trying to get to a place where you can understand that feeling that we need to create in our couples. So tell me if anyone has had that feeling for a handbag or a pair of shoes, because that is what you need to create on a show round. Don't make it all about the product, because you can't change your product, but what you can change is how your couples are feeling. And then, I'm not sure if you know, but show round rates are really much lower than they used to be. So only, 66% of your couples are only seeing 3 venues or less. 3 venues or less. So that means when they come to see you, they're probably only going to see 1 or 2 other venues. So your conversion rate at this point in your sales process should be really good, because they're only seeing 1 or 2 other venues, and you really need to help them create that emotional certainty. So Katie says all the time, great, I'm glad I'm not the only one, Katie, it's just me and you buying these handbags when we shouldn't. So show rounds is all about emotional certainty and not about product. And step 6, this is always one that surprises people when I talk about in sales. Ansa says, yes, I'm terrible. Good, I'm not feeling alone now in the handbag situation. So step 6 is actually about time management, and people are always really surprised when I talk about this when I'm actually talking about sales. Time management is a global issue. Everybody is short on time. We all want more minutes in our day. But if I can get you more minutes in your day, then you basically have more time to sell. And that's why for me, time management is a really important part of the process from inquiry to booked. Now, I used to use to-do lists all the time, and for me, they just don't work. They don't actually get anything really done. They're just these massive wish lists, and they're quite overwhelming. And I don't know about you, but I used to just move things day by day. So they'd just be on my list for weeks at a time. Give me a Y in the chat box if you have a to-do list like that, where you're just moving things every day to the next day. And so I have now a different strategy for how I get my life organized and how I get it done. And it's been a game changer for me for being more productive and getting more minutes in my day. The other thing is, when we're on property, we're firefighting. You know, we've got things coming at us. You know, you've got your BEOs that need updating. You've got the calls coming in. You know, you've got things happening. You've got weddings this weekend. And those things take precedence over the sales process, because it's not coming at you. Does that make sense? So we tend to do the things that are firefighting rather than the sales process, but then at the end of the month, when we're in our revenue meetings and we're not making enough sales, then it's a problem. So time management is really important, because it allows us to have more time to actually sell and actually get more bookings. Okay, so that's the 6 steps. So it's understanding your buyer, emails, being a great salesperson, calls, show rounds, and time management. So those are the real breakdown of how we get from inquiry to booked. And I've literally skimmed across the surface to be able to give you a few things to think about this week when you're thinking about your sales process. Now, if you do want to join the next group starting on the online sales training, we go in depth to each of these each week for a whole hour. And I explain exactly how to do all of this stuff, how to write those amazing emails, how to create emotional certainty so that you can book more weddings, how to give you more time in your day so that you can be more productive and less stressed and less overwhelmed. Now, booking closes this Thursday at 5 p.m. So if you do want to join the online sales training, you do need to be quick. It's just £399 per attendee, and we do 1 hour each week for 6 weeks, completely live. We don't have a flip chart. I do share my screen. It's much more technical. And all the attendees absolutely love it. And they say it's brilliant fun, as well as giving them lots of ideas. So guys, tell me your questions in the comments box. Was that useful? Was it helpful? Did it get you thinking about different things in your sales process? Tell me any questions, any comments before I let you go off for the rest of your Monday. So do type away if there's anything you want me to tell you about. Any questions, any thoughts? Was that helpful? Are you thinking of your sales process in this way and breaking it down into the different steps? Let me know in the chat box. Give me a heart emoji, give me a thumbs up if you thought that was useful, or just let me know in the comments. I'd really love to hear. I wasn't sure how Monday mornings was going to work for everyone also, because I know lots of us have Mondays off in the wedding industry, but it was the only time I could do this week. So hopefully, I can see we've had loads of people on live, so that's absolutely brilliant. Katie says, thank you, has made me think about certain areas. Exactly, sometimes it's just breaking down your processes into steps. And the thing is, you guys are so busy in the process, you can't actually take a step back and see how to break it up into pieces. Angela, sorry, lost you. We'll watch on replay. Oh no, sorry, Angela. We'll see you soon. But Angela's joining us on the 6-week course, so you're going to get it super in depth over 6 hours of training. Any other questions, guys? Anything else you want to tell me at all? Otherwise, I shall sign off for this morning, and I will see you again soon. So just quickly let me know anything else to ask, or type away in the comments box. Was that useful? Was that helpful to look at those different steps for you? And of course, once again, if you are catching up on replay, feel free to put your questions in the box. I always go back and have a little look in case there have been any questions afterwards. And do let us know where you're joining from. I love to see where everyone is in the world, and your venue names, do pop them in the box. Angela says, can't wait. Yay! Really looking forward to having you in our next group, Angela. Brilliant. Okay, well, I think that's it for this morning. I hope that's been helpful, guys. Any questions, pop them in the box after. I'll make sure I catch up later. Have a good day. Take care. Have a Monday. Bye.